Hey, this is Tim here with Expert Power Wash. Got a brand new skid here that we just finished up. This is a 6.5 foot skid. Let's take a look and I'll show you all the details. All right, here it is. This is a 6.5 foot skid. This one's built a little bit different than our typical workhorse skids. We did a lot of customizations to this one to make it fit the customer. So we'll start at the pressure washer. This is our custom built 8 gallon a minute Honda gear drive pressure washer. This is spec'd out to us, so it's not an off-the-shelf pressure washer. For starters, we have the extra heavy-duty base. This is the aluminum base. You can see how thick that is. This has the Honda exhaust, so this doesn't have the cheap Chinese aftermarket exhaust that you find on a lot of off-the-shelf machines. General pump, that's the gear drive unit. This one we also block mounted the unloader, so you have the super heavy-duty, beefy, half-inch whip line. So typically the unloader is over here on the end of the pump. We've relocated it. And when I say block mounted, you can see the block down there. And then this is the pulsar unloader. So it's a flow sensitive unloader. When you pull the trigger, you don't have all that excess pressure that's front loaded in the line. It makes it a breeze to use, and also it's a lot safer. Got one of the stock guns there, and then we did a custom gun on this one. So this is the 2305 stainless steel fittings down there on the end where the nozzles go in. Let me back up here and show you a few things that's different on this skid. So you'll notice that everything is mounted up. So right here, he wanted another bar. I think he's going to do something out here on his own. So this is just zip tied in, but this has two bars, two of the tank stop bars. We have a plate here, Flow Pro, that's mounted here, and then very tight, so we just had to put a 90 here, so he's actually going to connect there. The reason why we put the Flow Pro there and not over here where we typically put them, with this being a 6.5 foot skid, this thing is tight, but very well laid out. Let's go back, take another look here at what we got going on at the back of the skid. So you have the 7 gallon soap tank that has our custom bracket that's mounted on there. Look at how we did the filters here. They just neatly pop down there on both sides because there's two pressure washers. We have the Whisper Wash surface cleaner rack, of course, with the Whisper Wash 19-inch classic in there. When we build one of these skids, we don't just put a Whisper Wash in there. We check the nozzles and we make sure that the equipment is nozzled and set up properly to run. If you are new to this and you buy a surface cleaner, they typically come nozzled for a 4 gallon a minute machine. Obviously, that's not going to work for that guy over there. So just a little extra touch that we do to make sure that the nozzles are right in the surface cleaner that we're sending out to you guys. We got the 11 gallon fuel tank, all high quality fittings and hose. We have the rollover valve here so that tank can vent. We even use a stainless steel plug here, not using aluminum or anything like that. Those seal up really nice. We like them. We got the 1-inch drain hose down here at the bottom so you can drain your tanks really quick. That's 1 inch. And then over here is an interesting device that we don't typically put on skids, but this is a bleach fill port. So this is cam locked. It's going to go straight into the bleach tank. This pressure washer here, this is a 5.5 gallon a minute pressure washer, gear drive. We've done the same thing with the unloader on this one. So here's the gear drive unit, general pump, and then you can see we also have a whip line coming off of this one. And then this one has the K7 flow sensitive unloader. So it works the same as the other one. It takes all that violent jerk out of the hose. Also wanted to mention that both of these pressure washers are electric start. They also have recharging systems that'll keep the battery charged up if you're running the pressure washers regularly. Over here we have 4 12-inch Titan electric hose reels. What we did here, I think we got about 275 feet or so on that hose reel. So if you're wondering how much a 12-inch hose reel can hold, that's about the max. And then we have his remnant. I think he's going to do something with it. This is what's left out of a 300-foot roll. Of course, our hoses are crimped. You can see right here, we don't have hose barbs and clamps on any of those. We have the ST510 gun with the stainless steel J-rod and nozzles. We have 200 feet of Fierce Jet hose down here on the next one with the ball valve swivel. And then going on up over here, we have 100 feet of 3/4 garden hose, and then another 200 feet of Fierce Jet pressure washing hose down here on this one below. Something to mention about all these hoses that we use on here, we're using top of the line, the best we can find out there. This is Soft Jet. Take a look at that stuff there, 1/2 inch. And then down here, again, it's Fierce Jet. This stuff is rated for 4250 on working pressure, and then it has a burst rate of 10,625, also rated for 310 degrees. So if you ever want to use these hoses for hot water, you can do that. The hose reels are full frame aluminum, stainless steel internals. And when I say internals, I'm talking about the manifold. Most of the cheap reels out there will have a regular steel manifold. Those rust out and corrode internally. You may not ever see what's going on with them until the stuff just doesn't work anymore. So stainless steel manifold, stainless steel swivels on those. Another little thing that we did here, we put Mossmatic swivels on these ones because the space was so tight. This one has a quick connect. This one's going to be used for just storage, but if you ever want to run a whip line, that's down there as well. Let's take a look at the back here. Oh, we have another garden hose fill port that goes right into another Hudson float valve. So 2 Hudson float valves. Those allow the tanks to fill up and then turn off automatically when the tank's full. Here's another look at this side where I have our EPW box. The customer is actually going to install some hose here on this reel, so that's ready to go for them. We have our Pro Mixer XL with the rinse valve on there. This is the rinse valve. It allows you to bring in fresh water into the bleach line. That just helps prolong that mixer. Those are check valves on here, right here. So if you leave the 12.5% bleach sitting in that mixer, it's going to corrode that up and you're going to have fail points a lot sooner than you expect. Everything is neatly plumbed, high quality clamps. Something to mention on these clamps, these are not Home Depot stuff here. This is full stainless steel, 1/2 inch band, and the screws on here are also stainless steel. It costs us a little bit more to go this route on a lot of the hardware and the miscellaneous, including the hoses, the sealant that we use. But we think overall that's why a lot of people choose us for the builds, because all the little details are taken care of. We're not cutting corners or trying to get to a cheap price point. We're not trying to build something expensive either, but we're trying to build something that's going to last for you guys. You're using it every day out in the field. We want to make sure that it's going to work. Got the 7-gallon Remco dual control pump. So let me talk about that a little bit. So that is the new Remco pump. Most guys out there are using a regular Remco pump. Those are designed for the agriculture, RVing, pumping water, things like that. So that's just going to be a lot better of a pump. It's going to last a lot longer and overall just shoots better. All right, let me back up here so you can take another look. We got a few skids going out. That's actually our old skid that we ran on our own personal wash truck. We are strictly a build and store now, but spent a lot of years out in the field, and this is where a lot of the design layouts, the upgraded hardware, hose clamps, everything that we put into the skids is trial and error from years of running our own wash business to find out what works and what doesn't. So that's going out today. That's an 8-foot skid. And then we are building. We've been very busy. We have some Ultimate Minis over there, and then we're building some budget minis here. And then we have our build shop that's back here. We're anticipating a move here in the next 30 days. It's super awesome. We're going to have a lot more room. Our store is going to be a lot more expansive. If you're interested in what we're doing out here in the Portland, Oregon area, I'm going to put all my contact information down below in the comments, or actually in the description, either or. Get a hold of us. We usually jump on a discovery call, learn about what you need, and then we can put together a quote and send that over to you and get you set up in our build queue. All right, you guys have a great day.